if you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea.
The #1 place in the world for numbers of invasive species is Florida. That's why they are always in the news headlines about pythons, iguanas, and other animals such as those. The invasive species in Florida that causes the most ruckus is the Burmese python. People say it is the worst problem in the Everglades and in the country because of the damage it does to the Everglades and the native bird species that are endangered. The Burmese python eats the eggs and sometimes the birds themselves. The Burmese python can grow 18 feet long. Even though it is not an aggressive snake, it can still kill a person because of the tight grip they can give. Although the Burmese python doesn't do huge damage to the economy, it still does huge damage to native endangered bird species of the Everglades, making it a rising media star. Burmese pythons aren't only eating birds, they're eating alligators too. As you can see in this photo, an 18-foot Burmese python tried to consume a 5-foot alligator, but because of the bulge the alligator put on the snake in the high heat, the snake could not contain the alligator and in fact exploded.
Every day I will.
Another species of python in the Everglades is the African rock python. The African rock python can grow to 8 feet long, but is known as one of the most dangerous snakes in the world. Even though it is a non-venomous snake, it is extremely aggressive. The other problem with the African rock python being in the Everglades is started breeding with the Burmese python, creating a very large 18-foot to 20-foot snake, extremely aggressive, and hurting people and not just the birds and other species in the Everglades.
'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah.
Another dangerous animal in Florida waterways is a fish called the snakehead. The snakehead is an extremely aggressive fish that can grow up to 4 feet long. The snakehead is also the perfect horror fish because they are able to crawl on land and withstand being out of the water for 3 days. And they are the amount of aggression in the water as they are on land. They have been known to attack dogs, people, and little kids while they are in their backyards playing. The way the snakehead came to America is they were brought here to be sold as pets. They are also brought here to be sold at Chinese restaurants as a popular dish. Unfortunately, the dish wasn't that popular, and Chinese restaurant managers released them into ponds at golf course, which later led to streams leading the snakeheads into most of the Florida waterways. The snakeheads have been making their way up east and are now in 15 of the 50 states of America. Other invasive species in Florida include the iguana. The iguana is thought to be a native species by many people, but that is in fact not true. The iguana was brought to Florida from South America 40 years ago. Their numbers have expanded and they have become popular faces in Florida. When people catch them, they cannot release them into the wild because they are a non-native species. They have to bring them to a reservation or a breeder's facility. The tegu is another large lizard inhabiting the Everglades because of people releasing their pets into the Everglades with such numbers that they have started breeding in the Everglades. Another large lizard in Florida is the Nile Monitor. The Nile Monitor can grow 6 feet long. The Nile Monitor's main choice of food are eggs. Sometimes these eggs are from fellow large lizards like the tegu and iguana, but 9 out of 10 times it will be from an endangered bird in the Florida area. This has led to drop in bird populations in Florida. The USA is in the top 4 for problems with invasive species. Every year, the USA spends around $1 billion to fight invasive species and pay farm owners for the crop damage they have done. This chart here shows the number of invasive species in America. Right now, the iguana has the most amount of numbers, but by the year 2020, there would be more than 7 million feral hogs, surpassing the iguanas. This is because of the amount of feral hogs they can produce in a year and the amount of iguanas they produce in a year. The carp will also reach record numbers in the year 2020, becoming more than 5 million strong. This is especially surprising because the carp are only located in the Mississippi and Illinois River. The tegus, snakeheads, and Burmese pythons haven't even reached 1 million numbers yet. This is because they are located in such a concentrated area, but the damage they do to the area is what makes them such media attention. Right now, there are a little more than 2 million starlings in America. By the year 2020, there will be 3.5 million starlings in America. Every year, the starlings cause $1.7 million in crop damage. They are one of the leading economy problems in invasive species. The starling was originally released in New York for a freedom celebration, but they released more than they should have, and the numbers have grown ever since then. In this next section, please turn away if you are squeamish or do not like seeing dead animals, because in this section I will be showing pictures of dead feral hogs, because that was the only types of pictures they had of the huge monstrous beasts because of their elusiveness to humankind. Right now, there are more than 4 million feral hogs in America. They are the leading invasive species problem because they cause over $2.4 million in crop damage and other expenses. 1.2% of the hogs in America are caused by farmers breeding their own hogs and releasing them into the wild, but continually feeding the hogs at the farm but outside of the farm's gates. As you can see in this picture, because of this, the hog is eating twice the amount of what the farmer gives him and what he eats in real life. This hog was shot by a man on crutches after he saw him on the highway and got his gun out of the truck and shot this 1,200-pound hog. Although baby hogs may look cute, as they get older, they get extremely aggressive and carry many diseases that if you were bit, you need to go to the hospital immediately, but because of the bacteria in the mouth, you could die from the bite. This map here shows where there are higher numbers of hogs. The little patches of red symbolize where there are more than 250,000 hogs. The blue areas are where there are 100,000 hogs, and the white areas are below 100,000. The most hogs are in Florida, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Hawaii, and little parts of California. There can be up to 450 hogs in one single pack, usually containing 20 to 25 females that breed on a regular basis. Between these 20 to 25 females, they can have up to 1,000 babies on the course of a year.
Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah.